Hey Richard, how's it
Hey,
going?
Orion, how are you, buddy?
Good, good. It's so good
Good
to see you again.
morning.
Oh my gosh, good morning. What a pleasure. What a sight for happy eyes.
Yeah, how's that? How you liking that snow, huh?
Oh my God, it was like one of those days where I had no idea. I just hadn't been looking at the weather, wasn't paying attention, and I walked out to get something from my front porch and was quite shocked yesterday. So, but
Yeah,
glad I didn't have to go anywhere. So that was cool. It was a good snow day.
that's
How about
right.
you?
It's beautiful.
How about you?
Oh yeah, loving it. We're here at Jonah's house, looking at the beautiful snow. We got a bunch here.
Nice, nice.
Hey, Mary.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Hey, yeah, good to see you, Mary. Good to see you, Brandy.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Jonah, welcome. Awesome. We got a good group forming here. All right. So we are gonna dive right in. We got an hour together here. So we're gonna start seated and do a little bit of a guided visualization. Today, I'm really excited. Hey, Sandra, welcome. Good morning. Hey, Julie. Welcome, welcome. Um, Actually, yeah, why don't we just do a quick round? I do want to keep this really short, but I do want to get a feel for the room. So we're just going to say where you are in the world and what you're feeling or noticing as you come in. A couple words, like I'm feeling excited or I'm feeling nervousness in my belly, just a few words. So Richard.
Good morning. Oh, I feel great. This snow has me really like quiet, maybe feeling settled. It's the stillness of the morning. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool, cool. Thanks, Richard. Mary.
Good morning. I'm like trying to feel it into it, try to see where I'm at. There's an anxiousness and I don't know why.
Great. Often we don't need to know why. Thank you for sharing and noticing. Brandy.
Hi there. I am echoing. I am in Santa Fe and I am feeling still. Definitely the snow is quiet and still, and I'm really enjoying that.
Beautiful. Yay. Thanks, Brandy. Julie.
Hello, I'm in Chicago. I'm freezing and I'm excited for this.
Awesome. Yay. Freezing and excited. Good combo. All right. Jonah.
Yeah, I'm in Santa Fe and I'm in the middle of a hackathon. I did like 12 hours of programming yesterday and I slept like a baby. So I feel very good. And also with Krista, she's going to be watching in too. So
Awesome. Hey,
yeah.
Krista. Good to see
How are you
you.
feeling, Krista?
Actually, feeling surprisingly well.
Oh,
I've got some things that are moving on for me that it feels like things are going in a good direction.
Yeah, you've been pretty like positive and good vibe and yeah. Yeah,
yay.
so
Good.
things are good over here. I'm
That's a
also
great
right
combo.
by Richard and Brandy. They're just over there.
Oh,
So.
okay. You're all there. Cool, cool. Little party. Sweet. And Sandra.
Good evening from here. I'm in Greece. I'm in Lesbos Island and feeling like good, but also tired. But good. Yeah.
Beautiful. Good awareness. Yeah, and welcome from Greece. Yeah, I love this. This is my first signpost experience, so I'm excited that we've got a global contingent for my first one. This is great. Hey, welcome, Monique. We're just doing a quick round of intros, so you came in right at the right moment. We're just doing where you're calling in from and a couple words of how you're feeling in the moment.
Hi. I'm calling in from Miami, Florida, and I'm feeling excited about this call.
Yay, excited, cool. And my name's Orion. I'm here in Santa Fe as well. I'm feeling really excited and pumped up for this as well. It's two of my favorite things in the world, Qigong and human design, and I get to jam out with an hour with you all in it and get us moving. So let's like I said, we're going to start in stillness. So it can be seated or standing, whatever you're more comfortable with, but I'm just going to drop us into a few breaths. And today we're here to talk about the spleen. So the spleen, as you know in your human design chart, has those three channels connected into the root center. So the spleen is inherently connected to the root in the first chakra. So this is to really ground us into our root, ground us into the earth, where we trust. The spleen is all about trust and intuition. So we're going to do a quick visualization. Then I'll do some geeky, nerdy slides just to show you a little bit of the energetic channels of the spleen and the body from a medical Qigong perspective. And then we're going to move and we're going to play with moving the energy through those channels. That sound good to everybody? Sweet. So let's just find a comfortable spot. Invitation to close your eyes if it feels good. Just settling in. If you're standing, letting yourself find a nice comfortable spot in your body. If you're sitting, just letting yourself sink into the floor. Let's all breathe in and let out a big exhale together. Taking a slow inhale in through the nose. Holding at the top for a moment. And a big exhale out. One more, breathing in. Holding for a moment. Breathing in a little bit more. And then exhaling out really slow. Through pursed lips if you can. Letting everything slow down. When you get to the bottom, finding a normal rhythm to your breath. Letting your shoulders drop. Letting your jaw relax and the tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. Letting your forehead soften. Taking a moment to notice the mind. Not trying to change anything, just noticing the thoughts that are rising and falling. And as if you're watching them drive by on a highway, just take about 10 steps back from that highway. Letting them continue to drive from right to left. And on the next exhale, dropping your awareness down into your chest. Letting your breath expand your upper back, expanding your chest. Noticing your emotional landscape. We're not trying to change anything here. We're just creating space for movement, space for your emotions to flow through, letting go of any energetic grip that might have been there. Letting your shoulders and your body soften even more with each exhale. And on the next exhale, dropping down into your belly. With each inhale in the belly, feeling your abdomen expand in all four directions, lower back, belly, and sides, like a balloon. Just taking a moment to notice your physical energy, your physical body. And on the next exhale, imagining a root going down from your root chakra down to the core of the earth. Let it be easy. Let the energetic cord, this energetic root, just travel down through the layers of soil and water and rock and crystal and lava. And just feel yourself connected into the earth's core, into the nutrient-dense energy of the core. And with each inhale, just imagine you're breathing this energy up from the core into your root, into your sacral, into your gut. And letting it move into your body, cleansing you. Fresh earth chi. The element in Chinese medicine connected to the spleen is earth, the center. And breathing in, letting anything that isn't serving you that came up to the surface just roll down your shoulders, roll off your legs into the Great Mother's open arms. Letting that energetic root just gently come back up now, knowing that you can plug in at any time, feeling your connection to the floor beneath you once more. And giving your body anything else it needs as you feel your feet on the floor again, coming back into the room. Before you open your eyes, listen to your body, any twists or turns or stretches or yawns or sounds. Anything you need to be present here. And then when you feel ready, and only when you feel ready, there's no rush. If you haven't already, gently blinking your eyes open and returning to the space. All right, I see people starting to come back. Welcome back. And welcome, I'm sorry, I might not say your name right. Is it Nanshi?
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you.
Great, welcome. Sorry, my eyes were closed because we were in meditation. We just did a brief grounding meditation, but glad you're here. Welcome. Where are you calling in from?
New Zealand.
Great, welcome. We've got Chicago in the house, Florida, Santa Fe, New Zealand, and Greece. So quite a global group here. So now that we're all present, I'm going to dive in and share some slides so we can get to movement as soon as possible and get into the gift of Qigong. But I do want to set the stage a little bit with looking at the spleen through the lens of medical Qigong and Chinese medicine. And, you know, the reason that I love the intersection of Qigong and human design, because it has really helped me understand how to embody the wisdom of my chart. And wait, this isn't the right, hold on a second. That's not the first slide. Okay, there we go. And first of all, where is the spleen in the body? So where the spleen in the body is right under your left rib cage. So kind of towards the bottom of your left rib cage towards the left side of your body. So right about here. And this is where, when we're doing our movement and we're doing our tapping, we're going to be moving energy in the spleen. And so it's always good to know where that organ is. And the energetic channels, though, of the spleen actually start way down in your big toes. So the energy, because the spleen is connected to the root chakra. So when we're talking about the spleen channels, and when we think about our human design chart, which I'm going to show in a second, we do have those 3 channels coming down from the spleen into the root. And then down from the root, they go into the legs, and they go in the insides of the legs. So the insides of the legs is where energy comes up from the earth into the sacral abdomen region, and then into the spleen and into the stomach. So the spleen is represented by this little circle right here. And the chi comes up from the earth, up your inner thighs, inner legs, kind of circulates here in this CV12 point, it's called, and then it moves into the spleen and also starts to move up towards the throat. And it also, you'll see, goes into the heart. And then at the throat, it comes all the way to the tip of your tongue. So we see the spleen channels in our human design chart also coming up the left side of our body, up into the throat. So, you know, the human design chart really maps well, the energetic channels of the human design chart maps well to what these ancient, you know, medical Qigong philosophers and professionals knew and mapped in the body. And then if we look at the internal movement a little bit deeper, we'll see that from this CV12 point, which is right here, the energy also goes into the spleen, and it moves into the stomach. So the spleen and the stomach are very connected. And we're going to talk about that in a second. And then from the spleen, it moves into the heart and moves into the throat. And if we look at a human design chart, it looks very familiar. Yeah, we've got the channels coming down the leg, coming down to the root, and then down into the legs. We've got from the spleen to the heart. And we've got from the spleen to the heart, the G and the ego. So, you know, I like to think about these two, the G and the ego, as the upper heart and the lower heart energetically, where the G center is connected to the upper 3 chakras and the higher self, and the ego center is connected to the lower 3 chakras and the lower self. The 4th chakra being the mediator between higher and lower selves. And to notice our movement, and as we go into our movement today, we're going to be focusing a lot on the inguinal crease. So we're going to be focusing a lot on like twisting and turning and opening up that spot, because the spleen is all about trust. You know, in human design, they talk about instincts and intuition. In Chinese medicine, the original nature of the spleen is trust, honesty, groundedness, and confidence, feeling safe here on earth, feeling trusting of life, trusting of yourself, trusting of the unfolding. The acquired nature is worry and doubt. You know, each of the 7 gates in the spleen, as you know, or you might not know, depending on how far you're into your journey, has a certain fear connected to it. So this energy of fear, worry, and doubt is acquired. And when we're living fully grounded, fully with our spleen energy connected and rooted in the earth, and having that earth energy come into the spleen and having all these channels opened up, then we can fully trust. We can trust our expression. We can trust our direction. We can trust how we move through the material world. The color of the spleen is gold. Season is late summer. It's also connected to the transition between seasons. You know, the unknown, the mystery in between energies, which is connected to our instincts and intuition. The tissues are connected to our quads, our the psoas muscle that connects the pelvis into the front hip. Our shins, our stomach. The stomach is the yang to the spleen's yin. I'll share a little bit more about that. Our diaphragm, which is right under the rib cage, and our esophagus and our tongue. So when we work out these muscles, we're also helping the spleen chi move and move from the earth up to the spleen, and from the spleen up into the heart and the throat. The sound is hu, or ho. But hu is like my favorite sound to work with the spleen. And if we have time, we're going to play with sound a little bit today too. And it's that root chakra, ooh, and that tonifies. It helps the tonification of the spleen. It helps vibrate at the spleen's vibrational frequency to help clear out stagnant chi, to help clear out all the not self patternings that we've learned, all the issues in the tissues that are blocking the natural functioning of our design. So when the spleen is in deficiency of chi, it causes a lack of confidence, lack of self-worth, insecurity through a lack of trust in one's own decisions, and feeling stuck because of self-doubt. When it's excess, when there's extra spleen chi, it's insecure.
Orion, we lost your sound.
Okay.
Yep, you're back. You're back.
I'm back? Okay, great. So where'd you lose me, at excess?
Yes, right there.
Okay, great. So the excess of spleen chi is this, it's an outward expression of insecurity, projected onto others through codependency, seeking external validation, ruminating about everything that's happening around you, feeling ungrounded because your center is in someone else, trying to find that safety outside. The spleen, and how we're going to use Qigong today, is all about how do we build safety in our body, in our core, in our relationship with the earth here. So the first, also connected to the first chakra. There's also a connection a little bit to the third chakra, but today we're going to focus on the first. And you know, this energetic connection here, the channels linking the spleen to the root, and this fear, security, and survival instincts. Also, tribal power. The first chakra is a lot about the tribe. Whoops, sorry. So we've got these tribal channels: 2750, 5432, 4426. So there's a lot of the tribal energy of the spleen and that first chakra. Group acceptance, 2750. You know, making sure that the group has the right values supporting it, and that everyone is being supported and fighting for the right values and against the values that aren't correct. Rooting of the body down. Physical survival, also desire for procreation. You know, this 2750 connected to the sacral, the sexual energy, our life force. This is really about making sure that the right values are in place so that our kids inherit a world that is correct, that is correct for all, correct for as many people as possible. So there is this desire for procreation and fear of death. So when balanced, taking care of self while respecting the needs of others, also 2750. when unbalanced, chronic fear, victimization, pushy, possessive, passive aggressive. And I don't know about any of you on the call, but this used to be me. And I'm still unraveling it. I get into victimization every once in a while. I used to, without even realizing it, very unconscious, I had a lot of not self-patterning around being passive aggressive, rooted in codependency and seeking external validation, because I had too much spleen. I had an excess of spleen energy. I needed to calm it down. I went too far into that realm. And I needed to ground myself in the earth. I was too kind of moving up into the upper realms. So last little bit of geekiness here, physiological purpose is to absorb and distribute what the stomach has stored and digested. So the spleen transforms and distributes nutrients. It's also connected to our taste and the tongue. It's about cleansing, storage, and release of blood, immune response. As we know, the spleen center in human design talks a lot about our immune system. It also houses the body's thoughts and intentions, which is, interesting because of the understanding circuit, the understanding circuitry that we have here. This is, even though it's connected to our instincts and intuition, there's this logical circuitry that if we zoom out, that it's connected to. So it is responsible for our analytical thinking in the Chinese medicine angle, and memory and cognition and intelligence and ideas. So any questions about any of this? I don't want to spend too much time geeking out here, but I'll take a question or two before we move into movement, or just like a little bit of a taste of the flavor of the room. Like, how is this sparking anything for anybody?
I have a question. So when we're talking about human design, what is the difference between having an open spleen and a defined spleen? Where does that all fit in?
Sure, yeah. So in the human design, openness versus definition, it's about consistency and inconsistency. So the energy is always flowing through the spleen, and there's always access to intentionally connecting and rooting into the earth and welcoming more energy through your spleen with intention, with your third eye, with visualization. How it shows up, how you experience it with an open spleen will be different depending on where the planets are, who you're around. While with the defined spleen, you're going to have that familiar flavor that is yours, that is unique to Mary's body. And even with some of the open gates that you may have in a defined spleen, you'll still get little nuances. But the idea is that it's just about how you experience it will be more inconsistent if it's an open spleen. And that's how it connects to Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine, this idea of openness and definition isn't there, but that's a nice complement. So human design gives us that little extra tidbit of like the subtleties of how the spleen energy, the energy can move through the splenic channels into the body in all these various little ways. Did I answer your question, Mary?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it does. It answers the question. I'm just still curious. I mean, I have a totally open, an open spleen with one little hanging gate of the 50. And as you're talking, I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm not connected to some things. So it brings up more questions, but we don't have to discuss it here. I appreciate it.
Well, the only other thing I'll share, and yeah, thank you, Mary, is that with an open center, it's more susceptible for the mind to get kind of lost in the acquired nature, to think something's wrong, to think like and also with the openness, the immune system, you might not be, a body with an open spleen might not have a consistent immune system. So they might be more susceptible to health challenges, but also to the mind thinking something's wrong, thinking that because your instincts and intuitions show up in so many different ways as the energy is moving through these channels in these unique ways, the mind might identify that as like, I can't trust my intuition. It's all over the place. It's showing up in this way and in this way and in this way. So with the open centers, there's always that openness to conditioning in a little bit of a deeper way. So if anything, that's one thing I would say is what we're focusing on today is how can we shift out of worry and doubt and into trust, honesty, groundedness, and confidence, trusting our intuition, trusting our instincts, creating safety from within. So with an open center, there might just be a little bit more to do there. Okay, great. Unless there's another pressing question, let's go into movement and experience this a little bit. So remember that, and I'm going to be referencing part of the diagram if we do. I would really unless you're really super shy, I would love for you to all be on camera, just so I can watch your postures and adjust if needed. But if not, it's not mandatory, obviously, if that just doesn't feel good for you. It'll just help me help you. So you're gonna need to be, have some space to stand, and if the more I can see of you, the better. But just work with what you got. All right, I'm gonna unblur my backgrounds and make sure you can see me. Okay. So, let's see. There we go. All right. Can everybody still hear me pretty well? Yeah, good. All right, so the most important thing is posture, especially when we're working with the spleen and the root, because we can literally plug into the earth with our posture. So the way that's going to look, I'm going to show you front first, and then I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a little nuance here. So most important thing with posture is the feet are shoulder width and pointing forward. And then you're going to do this like interesting thing that's always really hard for me to describe, but you're going to pretend you're pushing the earth apart with your feet. You're not actually moving your feet, but energetically you are, and you're putting pressure into them. So the edges of your feet are pushing the floor, like you're trying to part the floor. And what that should do, I'm going to move a little closer here. If you watch my lower back and my tailbone, so right now I'm just kind of hanging out. And now I'm going to do the thing I said. I'm going to push the floor apart. So my sit bone sits down, and it looks like I'm like kind of sitting on a chair. And that's what we want. We want the lower back to flatten out, and we want to plug into the earth. And you should almost feel, when you've got the sweet spot, depending on your connection right now, you may not feel it today, it takes some practice, but when I do that, I feel this like this plug into the earth. So I'm just practicing that. And then from here, we're going to do some very simple warm-ups. And this is to purge out our channels, to get the energy that's stuck there moving a little bit. So we're going to start shaking. So just bouncing up and down, letting your knees bounce a little bit here. Making any sounds that feel good. And then as if you're holding a stack of logs, just put your hands out. This is allowing any of the stuck chi from our spleen to kind of roll off our fingertips here, down our arms. Our arms are acting as a vessel to move some of that chi. Any chi that we're holding from other people, from conversations of yesterday or tomorrow, we're just shaking it off at the heart now, like you're hugging a tree. Just letting out anything from your heart, any anxiety or stress, just letting anything that's ready to go shake away. And now like you're being marionetted by your higher self. Raining golden light down from your hands onto your body. Letting out some big exhales. And then a gentle back bend. So protecting your lower back, go as far as feels good for your body. But we're opening up the lung and the heart channels here. And this is also the area that we saw in the diagram that connects the spleen channels up to the throat. So we're just clearing that off a little bit. And then do the monkey, just kind of monkey back and forth a little bit. And then come to pause. And we're going to move into holding post. So holding post, everything I said before, but now you're going to hold a chi ball right in front of your sacral center. Yeah. You're all looking good. Want a little space underneath the elbows, which you've all got pretty good. Yeah. Really good, yeah. And then adjust your posture if you need to tuck your tailbone. And then the other postural piece is imagining your higher self pulling your crown up from the center of the scalp and then tucking your chin just a tad. And just settle here. Notice. Notice what that shaking did, if anything. And then inhaling our hands up to our heart. Exhaling, dropping into the solar plexus, letting our elbows, so you can drop your elbows in so they're not out, like that kind of. Yep, good. And then twist. So we're keeping our feet straight. I can't really see a lot of your bottom halves. So just the motion is twisting here in the torso. And it's originating in this inguinal crease. Because if you remember, the spleen channels come up the inner legs and then into this crease and into the belly. So this is really good to wake up the spleen, to help the movement of the spleen energy, to help us connect to our intuition and instincts, and to massage the actual organ itself. So you should be really feeling, almost imagine it being massaged. Send some love to your spleen as you're doing this and just imagine it being released of tension. Good. And now we're going to ring the temple bell. So we're going to, the same movement, so just hang your arms loose. And I'm just going to pivot in my inguinal crease. And my arms kind of flop. So the arms aren't actually doing anything, but we're just going back and forth and letting your arms kind of flop. And you're hitting right underneath your rib cage in the back. This is for our kidneys. So we're warming up our kidneys here. And in the front, we're just kind of tapping the spleen and the liver. Really, really gently. I have closed fists, but I'm not hitting hard. I'm just kind of letting them flop. Okay, and then slowly letting the spin stop on its own. And then rubbing your kidneys. If you can get your palms right under the rib cage, that's ideal. This hurts my shoulders, so I use the back of my hands. And we're just going to rub. We're going to bounce and rub about 50 times. This releases calming chemicals throughout the body. Our kidneys help us release fear and create calm and a sense of self-worth. So we're helping our kidneys support us in this spleen process today. This is a really fast way to shift your state. If you're feeling really anxious or feeling really fearful, doing 50 to 100 of these can shift your state in a second, just like the shaking too. Okay, and then come to stillness. Come back to holding post. And just notice here, settle in and notice what you're noticing. Notice if anything changed. Adjusting your posture if you need to. Good. So we're going to do some earth movements, some spleen movements now. So just settling in here, tucking your tailbone. And we're going to start with our leg channels, opening up our leg channels a little bit with some stretches. So we're going to breathe our arms up on the inhale, stretching as high as you can, exhaling, shoulders drop, inhaling, tabletop. I'm going to look at the screen so I can see all your posture, but you all can keep your neck straight if it feels good. And then just pulse your knees here. You know, it's going to get the back of the legs more so than the inside channels, but it's going to work the inside channels a little bit here. And then on the next exhale, we're going to do a forward fold. Again, pulse those legs. And then on the next inhale, we're going to put our weight in the heels, bend the knees, and come up one vertebrae at a time. When you get to the top, you're going to exhale into a gentle back bend, opening your palms so they face the sky. We're opening up those channels that come from the spleen, from the inside of the legs into the inguinal crease, into the belly, opening those up, opening our heart and lungs. Take a few breaths here. Trust your body, don't push it too far. And then we're going to inhale our hands and feet together. And we're going to do steeple grip. So pointer fingers together and interlacing the other fingers. And I'm going to inhale, stretch as high as we can. Exhaling, shoulders drop. Inhaling up again. And exhaling to your right. Good. And now we're going to take a few rounds of breath here. Pull your inner thighs together. Push your butt cheeks together. Squeeze those together and squeeze your thighs together. This protects your knees and it also activates those spleen channels. And breathe into your your left side body. Breathing into the liver here. One more breath. Inhaling up. Exhaling to the left. Same thing. Squeeze the butt cheeks together, squeeze the thighs together, activate those inner thighs. Breathing into your spleen now. I think I might have said the wrong directions because I have to reverse everything for Zoom. I apologize if so. Breathing into the bent side. And then inhaling up. Exhaling back to holding post. Settling here. Noticing. Adjusting your posture, plugging into the earth. Settling your nervous system. Good. Now we're going to do a little bit of a more subtle movement. So we're going to stay in holding post here. And this one's a little complicated. So I'm going to just watch me for a second, for like a round. So I'm going to inhale. I'm going to carry the earth to the right. And then I'm going to exhale and I'm going to rub my hands through water almost. Exhaling across. And then I'm going to inhale up. And this is really important here. Shoulders drop. I'm still, see, right here, I'm already bad form. My form always falls apart here. My lower back curves. So right here, I drop my tailbone again. And then I'm like holding the sun. So we go from moving the earth to holding the sun. And the shoulders are dropped here. And then carrying the sun across the sky. Inhaling down, connecting at the bottom. Inhaling across. And the other side. So you're just watching me right now, and then we'll do it together. So exhaling across, coming up to hold the sun, making sure the tailbone stays tucked, shoulders stay dropped, almost as if I'm going to set a volleyball. And then carrying the sun across the sky. And then inhaling down. The good news is, once we get into the flow, we're going to stay in it for a little while. And this is a good one to kind of get lost in. So I'm going to watch you all now. So this will be a practice round. And so we'll do it together, but I'll keep my eye on the screen. So you're going to inhale the chi ball to your right. Exhale, give back. Really slowly. I can kind of see y'all are looking good as far as I can see. And then we're going to inhale up as if we're pulling that chi ball apart with taffy. And then you're not bending your legs. I'm just doing this so you can see. And then as if you're setting a volleyball. And then starting to exhale the sun across. Good. And then inhaling that down. Exhaling as your hands meet. And carrying that chi ball all the way to the other side. Now we're going to do the whole thing again on the other side. So exhaling across. Inhaling up. Carrying the sun across the sky on the exhale. making sure your shoulders are dropped and your tailbone is tucked. Inhaling down, pulling that chi apart like taffy. Exhale as your hands meet, and then inhale, carry the earth. Now make sure you're bending into your inguinal crease here, and then give back. The twisting is happening at the inguinal crease and the torso. Inhaling up. Exhale across. Remember to keep your shoulders dropped. You're all looking really good though. Inhaling down. Bringing the solar purpose down into the earth. Inhaling across. You're all looking pretty good, so I'm just going to let us flow now. I'll give guidance, but just try to flow into your flow. Exhale. Inhaling up. Holding the sun, looking through your hands now. Receiving your purpose into your third eye. Pulling that beautiful cosmic energy down like taffy. As your hands connect, exhale and pause. Inhale, pulling the earth across. Exhale, give back. And if you're going at your own pace, that's okay too. I'm going to keep going, just in case anyone that wants the guidance. Inhaling up. Holding the sun. Thank you, sun. Thank you, Father Sky. Inhaling down. Connecting heaven and earth, Father and Mother. So keep going at your own pace now. See if you can drop into meditation. Just remember the most important things are tailbone tucked, shoulders dropped. Twisting in the inguinal crease. Feeling the twist in your abdomen and your stomach and your spleen as you twist back and forth. Feet are staying forward. And then start to play with different speeds. If you've been going fast, play with slowing down. If you've been going really slow, play with speeding up. Just connect your movement to your breath. Trust your intuition, trust your instincts. See if you can feel the chi on your fingertips or between your palms. You're all looking really good. Just remember to tuck that tailbone. And do one more on each side. Soften your awareness. The spleen is an awareness center. It's a subtle awareness center. So see if you can feel the chi on your fingertips. Last side here, and then we're going to come back together. So when you complete this one, just stop in the center as you're carrying the earth across. And then we'll meet here in holding post. Adjusting any posture that needs to be adjusted, pulling the crown up, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone. Little space underneath the armpits. And bring your awareness to in between your hands. See if you can feel the chi there. This is a practice of chi cultivation. So we were dredging and purging the channels as we're twisting and squeezing and tightening, creating space for the earth energy to come up into our spleen. You're cultivating your own chi here. Let's see if you can feel it. Now we're going to use a little sound to tonify. So I want you to take that chi ball and kind of roll it around in your hands and put an intention for how you want to shift your relationship with trust. How do you want to trust yourself more? Feel into that for a second and pack that prayer, pack that intention into your chi ball. And compact it more and more. And then when you feel ready, one palm over the back of the hand and bring it into your spleen. So right under the left rib cage, kind of like half of my hand is on my rib cage, half is under it. And now keep either one or both hands there, or you can even like kind of go like this, whatever feels good. And we're gonna do the who sound. So if you're in a place where you can make sound comfortably, I invite you to join in. If you can't for whatever reason, say the sound in your mind. So we're just gonna do it together. Ooh. Keep going. So when you run out, I'm going to say some things, but keep going with that sound. And see if you can feel the vibration of the who in your spleen. See if you can feel the actual organ responding. You can try to move up. You can try to go higher. You can try to go lower. Play around. Ooh. And see if you can find the spot where it vibrates. For me, it's like more on the lower register. Ooh. Can I just get a thumbs up or a medium or a low? How are people doing? Are you feeling the vibration? Thumbs up if you are. Okay, cool. So now we're going to play and come about 2 to 3 inches off your skin. So feeling into your field. In Chinese medicine, they call it the Wei Qi field. And just now, same thing. Use the who and see if you can feel your spleen vibrating when your hands are out here. Ooh. You can play with moving your hands around, changing the pitch and tone. Ooh. So in Qigong, these are our Lao Gong points. These are the most potent energy transfer points we have in our body. So when we're doing this, you're self-healing, you're self-tonifying the spleen, you're self-tonifying after we just purged and dredged with our twisting. We twisted out anything that wasn't serving us anymore, and then we can tonify, bringing in that earth energy, cultivating our own chi and our connection to the earth, and then supporting our spleen's functioning, which will support you in being able to operate from the original nature of trust and not the acquired nature of worry. from the original essence of your channels and not from the not self shadow patterns of your channels. So great job, everybody. We're going to do a closing, and then we're going to come back together to just kind of unpack a little bit and have some harvesting from the practice. This unpacking, so come back to a holding pose for a second. And we're going to do a tapping sequence to end. It's one of my favorite things to do. I do this in between calls, in between meetings, if I'm feeling stressed or anxious. This is one of my main go-tos. So you're going to take your right hand and tap your left shoulder. Kind of like you're patting yourself on the back, but also like pulling pernicious chi off. So chi can land in our field from other people, from conversations that we're going to have tomorrow, from conversations of yesterday. So we're just pulling all that off, and then we're tapping it down the thumb side of the arm. And then we're going to tap it up the pinky side, all the way to your armpit, gathering any stuck chi from your armpit area here, this very tender place. And then we're going to tap our spleen. So we've just been helping out our spleen. So anything that isn't helping and our intuition, our instincts, we're just tapping it to the surface and then make nice. Just wipe it off, just releasing it. And then the other side, left hand on the right shoulder. Letting out any exhales or sounds that want to happen. Down the thumb side of the arm. Releasing, letting it go. Up the inside, the pinky side. Gathering at the armpit. And then tapping. And this is a little bit meant to be vigorous, as much as you feel comfortable. We really want to we're tapping that stuff up. We're waking up our cells. We're releasing what isn't serving us and bringing life in. And then making nice. So the other important spleen point, the inguinal crease. So tapping the inguinal crease. Just letting anything that isn't serving you come up to the surface, up to the belly. There's spleen channels that surround your belly and wrap around your belly. So the belly is the yang to the spleen's yin. So just helping the stomach out here. And then just a bunch of weirdos on a Friday morning tapping our chest like King Kong. Let that inner smile come out onto your face if it's available. Shaking out anything that isn't serving us. And then the back of the head. And just open your mouth and let anything that you shook up just fall out of your mouth. Make any sounds that feel good. And then make nice. Make nice with your neck. Pulling out anything from your throat, from your chest, from your stomach. Now we're going to get the legs. So we're going to breathe in together, and we're going to breathe our hands over our head, and then we're going to go down the outside of our legs and up the inside. So those spleen channels take energy up from the big toe all the way up. So we're helping that energy flow. So inhaling, hands up. Exhaling down the outside. And then inhaling up the inside. All the way up to the inguinal crease, and then again. Exhaling outside. Inhaling up the inside. Exhale, one more, inhale up. Exhale down the outside. Inhaling up the inside. Okay, so now we're going to finish off with one of my favorite things to do. If you can yell loudly where you are right now, great. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to smack our butts and say whoo for our spleen as loud as we can 3 times. All right, inhaling up. Whoo! 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 And then let out a laugh. Ha 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 ha, because we're ridiculous and fun. And come back to seated so we can harvest a little bit here. And roll out your ankles and wrists a little bit too, and just coming back into the moment here. And then I just love to, we've got 6 minutes. So I just want to hear, before we go into any questions, just noticings. How was that for people? Any aha moments? Were you able to feel the energy? Whatever feels alive to share. You can just popcorn it.
I can share.
Yeah, great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. I have practiced Qigong before without knowing the meridians and all of the things that you've explained. So I just want to take a moment and say thank you for connecting those movements and those movements that are pretty close to my heart with actually what they're doing. So thank you for that.
Sure.
And I also wanted to recognize your conversation about the earth. I also didn't know that that's what I was doing, but I am always earthing in every way I possibly can. I will bury myself in it if I can. So
That's
thank you.
awesome.
Thank you for leading us through this morning exercise. It was
Oh,
powerful.
it was a pleasure. Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for
I
sharing.
can't
I'm so
hear.
glad you had that experience. And yeah, I'm glad you got that out of it too. The earth is so important for our spleen. You know, when we're thinking about the spleen center, whatever channels or gates you have defined, you know, we can get into the nuances, but it's hard to do that as a group. So we're generalizing here, but those channels connected to the root and our legs, you know, the legs are the one part of the body that aren't in the chart, human design chart, but they're so key. If your leg channels are clumped up, that's why I did that first stretch to just open up the leg channels. It's so important because our safety, the ability to trust our instincts and intuition, is our ability to feel safe here on earth. It's connecting to the earth element within ourselves, our connection to the earth. So really, really important. I'm glad you got that, Brandy. Thank you.
And I just think it's beautiful that my body is doing what it is supposed to be doing when I get out of the way of it. So I have been, you know, I'm always tapping on myself and moving myself around and getting that energy moving. And so I love that. It's just another indication that my body does what it needs to do when I just stay out of the way of it.
Yay. That is music to my heart. Thank you for sharing. Who else? What else we got happening in the field here?
I'll share a little bit. I'm as a splenic authority. That was incredible for me, this whole experience. I've never done this before, ever. I didn't even know what it was. And I felt all kinds of things while doing it. I almost cried halfway at one point. I felt definitely, I mean, immediately connected with so many things you said. And again, seconding what Brandy said about giving us the background of what we're doing, you know, carrying the earth and how those channels connect with our body parts. And I'm so grateful. This has just changed my whole day, I feel like, and it's incredible. I mean, it's a practice that I think I'll definitely take on.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad to hear that, Monique. Thank you so much for sharing. That really warms my heart, and I'm glad. And yeah, thanks for sharing the emotions that came up too. That's a really important wisdom of your body, you know, letting those emotions come out. Like I feel so many things when I'm moving through my Qigong practice. So thanks for letting yourself go there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Krista, I see you unmuted, Krista.
Yeah. I wanted to actually just share how poignant this whole experience was for me today. Today is the day that my mother was born and my father died. So when you said the joining of Mother Earth, the mother and the father, it broke something in me because I had decided to make today a celebration of their reuniting. So being able to do this today was very, very poignant. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Krista. Thank you. I'm good. And yeah, I see your name. The name is Jonah, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting your name right, but let me know if I'm not. It's Krista, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I get confused between Crystal and Krista sometimes. Thank you so much for sharing, Krista. And yeah, wow, what a beautiful synchronicity, and your kind of parents communicating with you and feeling them. It sounds so precious.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, anyone else want to share? Mary?
So I've done a lot of work, but the body is the one that I've always stayed away from. So the mind and the spirit, I've done a lot of work there. And I didn't even know that. I mean, I saw that. I didn't know you were going to have us stand up in front of everybody and do these exercises. And the minute you said you were going to, I was about to just jump off and run. But you know, as you're moving me through it, I'm like, you know, you have to start loving this body that you're in. You have to start moving the body that you're in. And there's just such flipping resistance. So I appreciate the you know, just following that sacral, and sacral brought me here today. Sacral said yes to this today. Sacral says, you know, don't get off when you're in that space. And am I going to do it right? Am I going to hurt myself? All anyways, I'm very grateful for being here. And it just reminds me, one, that I just need to keep chasing that sacral. Yes. And following through with that also. So thank you. Appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you so much, Mary. I want to reply. I just want to note that I can go over. We're technically up now, so anyone that needs to go, because it's the time, just wanted to say thank you for being here. I'm going to stay on for like another 5 to 10 minutes. I want to keep unpacking with people and just hearing your experiences. But if you need to go, thank you. Hope you come to the next one. And yeah, so Mary, thank you for sharing. And that's just, you know, it's my journey too. I avoided this body for 3 decades, 3.5. You know, it's really been the last 4 or 5 years that I've been on this journey. Well, 6, I guess. I was introduced to Qigong, and it's been the hardest thing. You know, there's a reason why human design is so alluring to me, because it's like, what? I can like spend days learning about every channel and every gate, and like it can just keep distracting me from my body forever. Yay, like please, more rabbit holes. And it like really, until I realized that I wasn't following my sacral. I was learning a lot about it, but I was still ignoring it. And that's when I realized that, like, as much as I wanted to follow my sacral, there was stuff in my body. My nervous system had learned that that wasn't safe. It was not safe to follow my sacral. And this practice, I love that, Monique, you said you're going to take this on as a practice, because it is a practice. And there's a, like, the doing, even if you just do shaking and tapping every day, you know, like that alone, what that does is keeps purging your channels every morning, every day, and then tonifies them. It just gives you a fresh start. It gives you, lets new fresh chi come in. Just that alone every day made a huge difference for me. And now the more I'm learning about how to work with different organs, it's like, it's so potent. So yeah, the journey into the bodies for me was the scariest journey, because it actually means I've got to feel what's in here. I've got to feel I can't think about them anymore. I got to be present with the discomfort, with the not self, with the emotions. And it takes courage and patience. So I just really want to honor you for staying in and having that courage and having that bravery and joining in the practice. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And it's really nice to be able to see faces that you know, and you know that they're supporting you because they know you too. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure thing, Mary. It's good to see you. You got a Johnny lurking in the background. Good to see you, my friend. Who who else would like to share? If anyone.
I will. Thank you.
Julie.
I really enjoy that. I'm a mental projector who is living in her head. So being in my body, and particularly the conversation around the spleen, the stretching to the side and the leaning over, falling over, I could have stayed there forever. And the imagery when you talked about like having stuff come out of your mouth, for me, it's like when I'm bent over, I just want it all to just go. So this was lovely, and it was fun to do it with the posse. I'm enjoying this group so much, and this was just yet another experience that makes me feel like I'm in the right place. So thank you.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Julie. And yeah, thanks to our hosts, Jonah and Richard, for creating this space. It is my first. I've been meaning to get involved with a lot of the signpost stuff, but right, my first priority was actually getting on here and offering something. So I hope to get involved. I know there's a lot of cool stuff coming, but it does seem, this is incredible. I love seeing all your faces, and this energy is so beautiful. So yeah, anyone else? Jonah?
No, just saying thank you, and what a wonderful first session. And I love what you've brought with the physical aspects. It's really tying a lot together. So
cool, sweet. I'm glad, Jonah. Awesome. Anyone else that hasn't shared yet? You don't have to share. Don't feel pressure. But yeah, Sandra.
Thank you. That was awesome. Like, I was feeling more tired before I joined the call. Now I feel
Yeah.
And I had a plan to join, but then I released the plan to join because I had to sort some things out. And like I came in the second before it started, and just really beautiful and grounding. And I had some wonderful insights while we were doing this, which was really cool for me. So thank you.
Great. Do you want to share one of them, or do they feel private?
No, it's okay. So I have been doing practices similar to this. I've been working with a wonderful yoga teacher, and we're working a lot with the lymph system. And this brought me back to that. I just went off for a couple of days. So it kind of just brought me back into my body in a very beautiful way. And I realized I had this flash of what it feels like to be grounded, but not just grounded in the moment, but grounded as a state. And I have these 3 times in my life where things have just felt good because of this feeling of being grounded.
Amazing. Wow. Very cool. Thanks for sharing. I love it when those insights flood in during practice. That's so beautiful. That's the other thing with the spleen, right? Like when we get out of our head and into our body, like that's the only time because there's that understanding circuit, the spleen channel coming up to the throat, and then that circuitry continuing over to the 63-4. So, and then, but you've also got the 61-24, all of this, depending on where the planets are at any given time, there could be these mutative insights that want to drop in. But if we're too much in the not self thinking, you can't drop. And just by coming into the body, it's like those intuitive insights that just can have the space suddenly to arrive. And it's really, just 10 minutes a day can create a big shift. So yeah, Richard.
Yeah, thank you so much, Orion. That was awesome. And I was just noticing how much I could feel the tingling and the energy in my hands that whole time. Super cool.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Awesome. Do you want to share more about what that was like for you, or or does that feel complete?
Same as everyone sharing, just really in my body, feeling very centered, really. Yeah, really
awesome.
Cool. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you're here, Richard. The tingling, if you felt that today, awesome. If you didn't, don't worry, like that comes over time. But that's been a huge part of my human design journey, is like actually feeling the energy that's moving through my channels. And the way to start that is with your hands and your fingertips and your palms. That's the way it's easiest to start. You don't have to start that way. Maybe you're very connected and you already feel the energy moving through your body. But for me, the practice of like bringing my attention in between my hands as I'm cultivating chi during a practice, I could feel. And one thing I forgot to do today that I usually do is when you're holding the chi ball, if you go into holding post during a practice and you just inhale, pull the ball apart, exhale, push it, compress it together, inhale, exhale, like you just play with that pulsing at the end of a practice. That's what really activated for me, because then I could start to feel like it's actually like hard to, like their ball is like right here. And I have to like, because when you soften your awareness, it's like, you're not feeling the physical anymore. You're feeling that chi, and it's like, boop, there's the ball. Like I can't even push it in anymore. And my hands would just stop. And I'm like, whoa. And then start to like build my sensitivity from there. And then that built into like really feeling the energy moving through my channels and starting to identify like, what does 2750 feel like? And that's when, for me, human design got really awesome, because I'm like, oh, I can now distinguish between what 2750 feels like and my open 6, my 59 looking at the 6. And I can feel what these different things feel like. I can feel when other people's energy, what their energy feels like in my body as compared to mine, through my open spleen gates as compared to my 2750 or my 2838. So very cool, Richard. Did anyone else want to share? Going to be quiet for a moment or two in case there's any introverts out there that just need a moment to step in. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody. This was such a pleasure. The next one is scheduled for the 15th. I believe I'm going to be driving to New Jersey on that day. So my intention is to do this from a rest stop on the highway. So I still want to show up and do it and like practice. It'll be great in the middle of a drive anyway to do some Qigong. So that's my intention. I'm going to do my best to make sure that service works out. but if just in case it doesn't, that's why. And I'll maybe put a notification in Discord that that's a potential, but my intention is to make sure that happens and to be really cautious around that time that I'm somewhere I can do it. And then, so I hope to see you there. And if not, happy holidays, and hopefully catch you in the new year. And Jonah and Richard and Krista and the Santa Fe crew, I'll see you soon. And Brandy, that's right, you're in town, so I want to see you too. So anyway, good to see you all. Thank you.
All right, see ya.
Bye.